The mistaken question here is not warming your audience up before you pitch your Skool community to them. To accomplish the goal of warming up your audience before launching your Skool community, we're going to look at content strategy, the market research that you conduct prior to launch, and we're going to look at the act of maximizing goodwill with your audience so that they'll be in the best position and peak of interest to joining your Skool community when it comes time to launching it. So if you're a YouTuber or content creator and you feel like you haven't warmed up your audience enough, you feel like you haven't engaged with your audience enough, or maybe you haven't posted any content in a long while, or maybe if you do post content, it's very few and far between. So you're not top of mind for your audience, then it's really important that you undergo a phase of warming up your audience prior to pitching any kind of offer to them, especially a Skool community. And so the first order of business as a YouTuber or content creator is to ask yourself the question, are you posting consistently? You're probably thinking right now that making videos, that takes a lot of time, that takes a lot of effort, that takes a lot of resources. And there's only so much that you can do given the resources and the time that you have at your disposal. But you have to remember that YouTube content isn't just limited to YouTube videos. There are multiple ways of warming up your audience prior to launching your Skool community. Beyond just making videos for your audience, you can also engage and warm up your audience by doing live streams with them, by making YouTube community posts. And so if your concern right now is that you cannot make content frequently on YouTube, just know that you have more than videos at your disposal to engage with your audience and to warm up your audience. And so perhaps the strategy could be you upload one video a week, but you make a YouTube community post every single day. And that's something that is way more manageable. And it's in fact something that I know is manageable because one of the clients that I work with has done that in the past. If you're an educational YouTuber or content creator with an existing audience, and you're looking to launch your Skool community soon, but require some expert guidance, then by all means, you might consider booking a Skool strategy call with me. One important action to highlight is that you want to use community posts on YouTube to identify your audience's pain points prior to pitching a Skool community to them. Because think about it. How are you going to know what kind of Skool community you're going to make for your audience if you don't understand where your audience is coming from, if you don't understand the struggles and the pains that your audience is currently going through? And I'll show you an example of that in just a second. So here we are in the YouTube community posts section of one of my clients. And you could see that he's made a YouTube community post and a poll to figure out the pain points of his audience. And he's asking, are you disciplined? Do you use your self-confidence to succeed in life? Are you disciplined, but it doesn't really help you in life? Do you sometimes lack discipline and this really holds you back? Do you lack discipline and you're okay with that? So these are ways to figure out where his audience is at right now and to figure out what are their pain points. In this case, he's talking about discipline. So he's figuring out if they're being productive, if they need help with their discipline, that kind of thing. Of course, it's going to vary for your niche, the pain points. You're asking questions that you're genuinely curious about concerning your audience. You're making polls. You're just having fun about it and you're trying to study who it is that actually watches your videos. What are they struggling with? And how can I be in a position to help them out? And that's where your Skool community offer is going to come in. So right now, before launching anything, before proposing even a hypothetical offer, you want to really figure out where your audience is coming from, because that's going to help you build out your Skool community in the first place. This rule applies to all educational YouTube content creators. And so the action item for you right now is to post valuable content. Valuable content for an educational YouTube creator is content that causes your audience to change their behaviors. When a viewer watches it, he is a certain way before it, but then after viewing your content, he changes his behaviors and therefore experiences a positive transformation in his life. The simplest example of this effect would be a fitness channel. So let's say a viewer of a fitness channel is overweight, he's out of shape. He watches the channel's videos, he learns some new things, he implements right? He changes his behaviors. He was acting a certain way beforehand, which caused him to be overweight and out of shape. But having watched those videos and learned those lessons, he implements this new advice. He changes his behaviors, and as a result of that, experiences a positive transformation that allows for him to, achieve the result that he wanted, which in his case was to be healthy. That is what valuable content is. Valuable content is what causes your audience to experience transformation. And in terms of warming up your audience for the purposes of eventually pitching a Skool community to them, you're going to want to post this kind of valuable content, this behavior changing content, well, for as long as you have your channel. But in terms of warming them up, do a warm up phase of around a month. Don't skip steps. Warm your audience up for around a month. So if you're posting once a week, that's 4 videos a month where you're posting valuable behavior changing content. And I'm not just telling you to conduct a warm up phase of a month for no reason, just to be arbitrary with the timeline there. I'm telling you that because one of the clients that I work with here, and this is his channel, spent about 1 month in these 6 videos here conducting a warm-up phase with these videos. And the result of this month of posting these valuable videos was that when it did come time to selling his Skool community, he made $50,000 in just 1 month. And so when it comes time to warming up your audience before launching your community, before pitching that Skool community offer to them, you're going to want to warm them up. You're going to want to strengthen that relationship that you have between you and your audience. And that's going to take time. And so that's another reason why I recommend a warm-up phase of around 1 month. Also, just to be clear, during this warm-up phase, you're going to want to have 0 call to actions to your Skool community. The point here is that during this warm-up phase, it's all one-sided, meaning that you're the one who's providing value. You're the one who's giving. You're not taking it. You're not asking for anything during this phase. And what that's going to do is it's going to build reciprocity. For us, the principle of reciprocity is important because people tend to feel obligated to return favors after people do favors for them. The favor that you're essentially doing for your audience is just providing them valuable content. You're giving and you're not asking for anything in return during this warm-up phase. And what this is going to do is, because of the principle of reciprocity and because you're giving and giving and giving, your viewers are going to want to return the favor. And so when it comes time to launching your Skool community and you make that public, you make that known to your audience, you're going to have a bunch of viewers that are prepared to join because they feel like they owe you something. And they know that you're capable of providing very valuable content. And so they're going to want to give back when it comes time to launching your Skool community. And that's why we're doing a warm-up phase in the first place. And so to summarize today's video, build familiarity through consistent content. You want to identify your audience's pain points through basic market research, and I recommend doing so using the YouTube community posts feature. And most importantly, you're going to want to cultivate reciprocity between you and your viewers by educating your audience to change their behaviors so that they can experience positive transformations and associate those transformations with you, which in turn makes them more likely to buy your Skool community when it comes time to launching it.